Gauss's theorem is usually used to find the electric field for continuous charge distributions. Let us see one such continuous charge distribution which is in the form of an infinite line of charge. So these are the assumptions. Let us consider a uniformly charged, say positive, so let us consider the charge is positive, wire of infinite length. Suppose we want to find the electric intensity at a point P. Let P be at a distance r from the wire. So let us consider, so we are considering infinite wire and we want to find the electric intensity at a point P which is at a distance r. How to do it? For this we draw a coaxial, means having the common axis with the wire. So coaxial Gaussian cylindrical surface. So we draw an imaginary cylinder of length L and radius r through the point P. And we also considered a small area element dA such that the electric field vector E and the area vector dA are along the same direction, which is radially outwards. So let us have a look at the diagram with these assumptions. So this is how the diagram looks. So the black is the imaginary infinite wire which is positively charged, and the green color is the imaginary Gaussian cylinder which is having a radius r, length L. We are considering an small area element dA such that the area vector and electric field vector are in the same direction. But on the upper and lower ends of the cylinder, the area vector is normal to the area. So here the area vector and electric field are at 90 degrees. How this is useful, we will see that in our derivation. So just remember, at the top and bottom ends, dA and E are at 90, but on the surface E and dA, they are in the same direction, radially outwards, and the angle between them is 0. So now let us come to the derivation. First we start with, as seen in the diagram, E dot dA equal to E dA cos 0, as on the surface the angle is 0. So E dA, so electric flux, integration over A, E dA, E is considered constant, so dA if you integrate you get A. But what is this A? A is the surface area of the cylinder. And what is the formula for surface area of cylinder? 2 pi RL. R is the radius, L is the length. So phi E is equal to E 2 pi RL. Also through the plane ends, phi E equal to 0 because E dA equal to E dA cos 90. Cos 90 is 0. So there is no flux from the upper and lower end. So this is where this assumption that they are at 90 degree comes useful. So then through the upper and lower end there is no flux. So the total flux is the which is going through the surface of the cylinder, means our total flux is E 2 pi RL. Now we equate it with our Gauss's theorem, which says that the flux should be equal to Q by epsilon naught. But here it is not a point charge Q. So we have to find out what is the charge in this case. For that we again assume that let lambda be the charge density, means charge per unit length. So for the cylinder, what will be the charge? If lambda is the charge density, so lambda into the length of the cylinder. So Q is equal to lambda L. So what is our flux according to Gauss's law in this case? Lambda L by epsilon naught. And previous expression E 2 pi RL. So equate. LL gets cancelled. So what is the expression for field? E is equal to lambda, which is the charge density, divided by 2 pi epsilon naught R. If you want to write it in vector form, R. So what is R? R is the unit vector in the direction of the radius R.